Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
One, two. Check me out right here, yo.
Yo, the sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together. Better now than never. Business before pleasure. P. Diddy and the fam.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Bob Sullivan Show, starring Bob Sullivan.
Welcome into the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com. Tonight, 1 hour show here on Tuesday nights. Kind of a new thing, just to relieve the stress on Sundays. But tonight, got a big show. First off, to lead off, is YouTube sensation Max No Sleeves. Max, how you doing tonight? And did we lose him?
Yes, apparently. Hold on 1 second, please. That's impressive. We lost him before the first question.
Yeah, I didn't hear the music, by the way.
That's great.
Hey, you guys there?
Yep. All right. Max, how you doing tonight? Here, we're live now.
Excellent.
Yeah, the wonderful world of Skype, brought to you by. So, Max, you are a bona fide YouTube sensation. What is it like being a YouTube sensation, and what goes into the life of a YouTube star?
Well, shucks. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the most common thing is explaining it to, like, my mom's friends. And, like, telling her that I'm not, like, doing porn on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, YouTube gets a bad rap that it's porn. The older generation.
Yeah, well, they hear internet video, and they're just like, oh, okay. But it's pretty cool. I mean, the cool thing is you can do everything, from your phone.
Well, what do they see? What makes them think porn star? Your beard, your facial hair, the way you dress, or
well, it's everything, obviously.
Everything, or the internet thing.
Yeah, no, it's the word internet. I feel like that scurries a lot of elder folk, but they're coming around. I mean, that was 4 or 5 years ago. Nobody knew what this was, and now internet people are making big moves. So it's cool.
Yeah, I feel like it's cool watching you, Ali Spagnola, and people on YouTube, people with internet, doing vines and whatnot, making it as far as finding ways to entertain people who have short attention spans. How short is your attention span? Because your videos are very entertaining.
Thank you. It's actually been a really big problem for me. Like, I can't read an email without playing a game on my phone, or reading a comic book while I'm playing a game of chess, while I'm writing a proposal, while I'm reading a contract. Like, it's a disaster. But it comes with the territory.
Have you made any? So, like, do you explain that to like your mom's friends, that you couldn't possibly be making porn if you're answering the email during with your type of attention span?
I would be so distracted.
I feel
they get it.
Okay. I feel like if there was a porno where somebody was answering an email during it, I feel like that would just ruin the entire mood. We're elevated.
Did you see? That was my favorite part of Batman versus Superman. Did you catch that movie?
I did, yes.
Do you remember that part where Wonder Woman read her emails?
Now that you mention it, I do remember that. I forgot about that part, but and that part totally doesn't make sense. Now that I think about it, that part totally doesn't make sense.
That was a tough movie. I mean, not a lot of it made sense, but I remember specifically that part being like, yeah. Hold on, what am I watching right now?
Yeah, what was she answering her text while she was blocking from Doomsday?
You know,
it was like they were trying to make some joke. Like it was a serious movie up until that point, and then the two biggest jokes came out. The first one had to have been when Martha, the whole Martha thing.
Yeah.
Where Batman's like, "Oh, your mother's name's Martha too? Well, I guess I won't kill you, Superman." And then
that was the low point.
It's like you become best buds over your moms having the same name. Like, so you're saying that like Churchill and Hitler would have become best friends if their mothers both had the same name.
Well, if Zack Snyder ever tells that story, then yeah, I'm sure that's how it'll work out.
I have an idea for okay, with people who have. If you have friends that give you, do you have a lot of friends that give you suggestions as far as what you should do?
Oh yeah.
YouTube? Okay, and how many of those are horrible?
Well, none of them are horrible because they all have like a spark of something cool. You know what I mean? But they'll have some little gem of an idea that's then surrounded in a whole video of nothing. So. I mean, I cherry pick a lot. I steal my friends' best jokes during the week, but I make them into something cohesive.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You had a pitch.
Horrible idea for you. I don't really. It's not 100% up your alley, but it's a horrible idea to pitch to somebody. And this is my horrible idea. It's called Godzilla versus Hitler. And Godzilla. Okay.
Go on.
So Hitler and the Japanese are, they're best buds. They're trying to.
Hold on. What year are we? Where's set me the scene here?
World War II time.
Okay.
Hitler's best buds with the Japanese. Everything's going swimmingly for them, and not so great for the rest of the world. But then Hitler. This is the fictional part where Hitler turns on the Japanese. The Japanese get pissed. They call on Godzilla to go kill Hitler. Godzilla goes and kills Hitler. Now, I think that would be a great movie. I don't think we could get the rights to Godzilla at this point, but I think that would be a type of. I don't think you could do it in 6 seconds for Vine. I think you could put together about a 6-minute video that would entertain people as far as that goes. Or Max No Sleeves versus Hitler, but you're, 50 feet tall like Godzilla, the Japanese want you to go kill Hitler.
I mean, I think you might have something here.
It's a horrible drunk idea, but I think there's a little something to this.
My God, after a hard night of drinking, I'll look at my phone, my notes on my phone. I mean, it's that, and then if I wake up in the middle of the night from a dream, and I have like this great idea for a video, like Beverly Hills baseball battles, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. And I wake up the next morning, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Do you now you go to a lot of premieres, red carpet things for whether it be a Fox TV show, you go to red carpets for, Kids' Choice Awards, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Have you ever walked away? You don't have to say specifically a TV show or a movie that you've walked away from where you're like, that's horrible. But have you ever walked away from one that you were supposed to promote on Snapchat, YouTube, whatever it may be, where you had to like grit through your teeth? Yeah, this was good, but it really wasn't, in your opinion. Like, have you had to do that, or have you gone to one where you're like, it was completely terrible and you backed out of having to promote it positively?
Well, if they invite you to the a party or like the premiere or whatever, they're just sort of hoping that you blast it out on social media. So in reality, you're under no, you can sort of say whatever the fuck you want. Can I swear on this thing?
I do from time to time. Yeah, have free reign, whatever you want to say.
So if they just invite you to the thing,
So,
yeah. If they invite you to the thing, you can sort of say whatever you want. Now, I've never actually said like that TV show is trash. I'll just not say anything. And usually I'll take a look at it, and if I don't think it's going to be fun, or if I don't think it's going to be good, I probably won't go. So I don't know. I've been surprised a couple times. But no, I mean that's sort of the move, right? Is that if I say something's cool, then it's kind of from the heart, and if I don't think it's cool, then I won't take the gig or whatever.
Is there a with the TV shows? I always wonder how like the red carpet and the premieres work for TV shows. Like I always hear like, oh yeah, they showed us the first episode of Good Times, the premiere of Good Times season 6, and it was great. But what goes into a premiere, like watching a premiere of a TV show? Like I saw you were at, I think it was Pitch. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that was last week maybe.
Yeah. How does a premiere for a TV show work? Like a red carpet for a movie, you just watch the movie and that's it. For a TV show, there's 12 episodes in the season. You're not going to sit there and watch 12 episodes. How does a TV premiere work?
Usually they'll show you the premiere episode a few days early. And you never really know. I've been to one where they show like a teaser and that's it. And I've been to ones where they show you like 3 episodes, and you're just sitting there like, are we seriously going to do another episode right now? But that's fun. I mean, and like that one was really cool. They rented out a baseball field right across from the Fox studios, or from the Fox, like there's a building in Westwood somewhere. And they had like buckets of beers everywhere, and they had a radar gun so you could test your arm. They had hot dogs and hamburgers and popcorn, and we sat in the bleachers and we watched the first episode on a projector screen, and then it was pretty cool.
Was there what was the most pumped you've been for a TV show that you've gone to a premiere for?
I don't know. They're always like they're usually shows I haven't heard of. You know what I mean? Because they're new. I remember I went to the Sausage Party one last week, and I was like, "This movie's going to be real weird," and it turned out to be like astounding.
Yeah.
And that was a curveball. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that one. It was kind of like it was by the same people that did This Is the End.
Yeah.
It's like when you see the preview for This Is the End, you're like, this looks awful. Like, and Sausage Party, this looks. I haven't seen Sausage Party yet, but because of This Is the End, I felt like This Is the End was not. I don't feel like it was the best. It was definitely not the best movie ever made, but it was a really well done movie. It was pretty much those guys' version of Grown Ups, except for it was funny, and I mean, just the way Danny McBride carried him. Danny McBride's genius. You have Michael Cera's genius. You have James Franco didn't really put his genius into it, but I feel like Seth Rogen. I mean, you had all these guys that just put their own creative touch on the movie.
Yeah.
Didn't nail it in. I felt like that was a perfect movie, and I feel like Sausage Fest. Or Sausage Party. We don't want a Sausage Fest, but Sausage Party. I feel like it was going down that road. Like I'm willing to give it a shot because of how well they did This Is the End.
It's a weird movie. It's okay, but I would say it's a must-watch for the ending. The ending is one of the more surprising endings I've ever seen. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Well, that's kind of like, spoiler alert, This Is the End. When they go into heaven and the Backstreet Boys are there.
Yeah, that was cool. I'd say that was let's call that a B plus.
Yeah.
The ending of Sausage Party Fest, whatever the fuck it's called. That was an A. That was a hard A.
All right, beard discussion. How long has it taken to grow the beard, and does anybody ever confuse you with James Harden? Because I have to ask, because this is supposed to be a sports show, but how often do you get confused with James Harden?
Usually they're like, oh yeah, the beard baseball guy. They don't actually know that his name is. Or what's the guy in the Dodgers?
Is it Jacob Turner? Keith, who's the guy with the long beard on the Dodgers?
Turner, but I'm blanking on his first name.
Is it Brian Wilson?
Brian
Wilson at the Dodgers. He's what's it called? Giants, Dodgers, and then it was somebody else.
Okay, yeah, the long time.
Justin.
Yeah, Brian Wilson.
Yeah, that's a big one. I'm frankly pretty surprised that how many times people say James Harden, because I'm like, is that racist? Is that like inverse racist? Like they don't see color, they only see beard. Like it's
it's oh, here we go. It's fascist, facial racism, facial.
Yeah, perfect.
Facial.
I wouldn't call it fascist.
I guess facial. What do you call it? Stereotyping. I guess everybody looks the same.
Call it facial.
Yeah, there you go.
You, Max, with the beard, how long did it take to grow out?
I've had a beard for about, call it 2 years, maybe a year and a half. No, 2 years. But last Christmas, my mom paid my barber off, so he gave me a quick trim, and then he cut like almost half of it off. So that was kind of a curveball. But yeah, I've had a beard for a long time.
Do you buy into the fact every time I read a story about facial hair, there's something about animal feces? You buy into it?
Yeah, I mean, I throw that in the bucket of like random little minuscule facts that don't really mean anything, like Skittles, or like there was some Gobstoppers way back when they were like, if you eat Gobstoppers, it lowers your sperm count. And it lowered it by like 0.0002% of 1% or something like that. So, Well,
it's like, here in Omaha, we have the Kellogg's factory, and I know that there's, a certain percentage of rat turds that are allowed into the, into cereal, and it's like, okay, well, Frosted Flakes, they're not really that great to begin with. So what's the difference if I'm eating a couple of rat turds with, my bowl of cereal? I'm not going to be able to tell the difference. Like, yeah, that's the thing. For me, is it's funny when they say, like, oh, well, like a beard. Okay, how many animals are going into your beard? I don't have an animal coming out of my facial or my face. Well, who's... If it is animal feces, what animal is crapping on my chin? Like I don't understand how that works, and who has who's able to call the shots on that as far as how, who's studying, like what beards are they studying when these type of studies come out?
It felt like a headline, and if you actually read the article, you would find nothing. And that's what happened to me over and over again, because I actually read the articles because I was pretty paranoid. It worked. But then I read it and I was like, oh, that's stupid. That's so dumb.
Did you watch the John Bonet? This is the most random conversation ever, probably for you. For me.
Okay.
But,
I'm ready.
Okay. Did you watch the John Bonet Ramsey documentary last night on CBS?
No, missed that one.
Are you caught up on, or like, do you know anything about the case, or do you care at all about the case, or?
I mean, it's interesting. I'm not. It's not my number one.
Okay, but okay. What is your number one, like, unsolved mystery in U.S. history? If you had to pick one.
My number one unsolved mystery.
Yeah.
Or
unsolved conspiracy.
Is now a good place? I mean, I'd say Roger Goodell, but that's not a conspiracy at all. That's a blatant case of cheating.
He's just a big scumbag.
I don't know. I guess I'm mildly interested in alien stuff because there's so many alien things flying around and we just don't know what's going on.
If there's an alien, okay, here's one for you.
What do you mean if?
There is. Okay, well, this is the thing. Like, okay, say like an alien comes here and takes a picture of Earth. It's not going to reach their planet until it says like they're going to get a picture of dinosaurs at this point.
Yeah.
As far as like distant, well, if that makes sense. But as far as there's no way that there's not another living organism on the in this universe. But if you, all right, with the this is going to be really complex. But as far as like Area 51, Roswell, and then this is my third one, which I can't remember where I heard it, but okay, Bigfoot. Every time there's a Bigfoot spotting, there's a UFO spotting within the next week or so. What would you bet? Yes, that is. Yeah, there's usually, it's not every time, but there's a lot of UFO sightings within the week of a Bigfoot, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Would you bet that Bigfoot is an alien? That those just, it goes into a secluded area. And usually UFO sightings, like in like Nevada and whatnot, are, kind of a secluded area. But what would you bet is the most likely to be Area 51 hiding, UFOs, the Roswell thing, or Bigfoot and alien connection?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if they're like, how would an alien get here in a spaceship? So then, why would he just walk around on the ground like a plebeian? Like, I don't know that. I mean, I get the Bigfoot. I like that. I don't know. I gotta think they're just here and they're just looking at us like, what the hell are they doing? What? I mean, they got to the moon. Okay. I feel like they're just waiting and kind of scoffing at us.
Or why is that guy watching porn on a cell phone that could cure cancer?
Why are so many of them? Why are they all watching porn?
Yeah, well,
all the time.
Why are a bunch of people not procreate and not procreate themselves?
I'm sure they got a laundry list of questions.
Yeah, it's a very disturbing. I feel like, like if an alien just zooms in on somebody's house, like. Say, like an alien has X-ray vision, able to see into somebody's house. God, the horrible things that they would see.
Oh my God!
Like just the randomness of what they were able to see. I think that would be. I feel bad for the aliens on some of that stuff.
I think about that stuff with like the government spying on us and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think about that, like this poor NSA guy who's assigned to me, and he's like, Max is looking up how to fry an egg? Again? Like, is he serious? They're in the webcam, and I'm like, he's still asleep?
Yeah.
It's noon on a Wednesday. What is wrong with this,
Well, I was like it would be like, oh, God, he's watching another Taste Made video with like 14 different cheeses. Like, I don't understand what this guy's doing. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, why doesn't he go get a college education? Why doesn't he read a book? What is a book? And yeah, it would just be horrible as a or like somebody in the government and in the TSA. Like, I mean, Would you rather be a TSA agent where you're, getting uncomfortable with your hand placement, or watching some porn-addled adult watching hours?
It's a toss-up. I mean, because you're saying NSA versus TSA.
Yeah.
It's quite the debate.
Yeah.
I guess if you're NSA, you could probably get up and get a cup of coffee whenever you want, right? You're in your own desk. You can do whatever you want. But you have no control over your subject. Whereas TSA, you're, God, essentially. Like, when I'm in the security line at the airport, they can tell me to go home. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. I'll do whatever you want. And they're such... they hold my entire life in their hand for that hour, whatever it is, before my flight. I mean, it's crazy. So what do you want? Do you want like freedom to do whatever you want, but no power? Or do you want to be stuck at the airport all day, which sucks, but you have absolute power? I don't know.
It is a mystery. I mean, it is a... I've asked you a lot of soul-searching questions here. And but on that note, all right, Max, before we get out of here, do you want to tell everybody where we can find you on Twitter, the internets, all that good stuff, YouTubes?
Yeah, it's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. It's at Max No Sleeves. On Facebook, it's No Sleeves Max, because someone stole my page like a million years ago.
We should find that person and
fuckers.
Awful. Yeah.
We'll send Bigfoot on them.
Yeah. Bigfoot and aliens. All right, Max. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Always a pleasure. Or, well, I guess not always, but definitely a pleasure this time.
Am I a recurring guest status, or do I get a grade on the thing?
Yeah, that's up to you. If you want to be a recurring guest or recurring star on this show, you have recurring guest status available or acceptance.
Eligibility,
yes.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
I wasn't too random for you to scare you away, though.
No, man, we're just chit-chatting.
Yeah. A pretty basic conversation, so. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, we'll be right back here with Daryl Wilson here on the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Can you hear me good?
Yep. Gotcha.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Here we go, yo.
All right, welcome back to the Bob Sullivan Show here on latenightsportsradio.com. Joined here in the second half of the episode with Daryl Wilson of SpitzGame.com, Players Insiders, NGSC Sports. Daryl, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Bob. And yourself?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since we've talked. Always love talking to you, NBA, NFL, whatever it may be. Tonight we are definitely going to some NFL. It's been a while since we've gotten together, but always a pleasure when we talk.
Definitely. And I didn't tear my ACL today, so I guess I'm good.
Is that a shot at Derrick Rose, or is that a shot at me as being a Knicks fan, or what's the shot at me for that? Is there any shot?
Yeah. So the latest ACL going on. I mean, is Keenan Allen. No, there's a lot of injuries going on in the NFL right now, man. It's just ridiculous. We had Black Sunday early.
Okay, how pathetic is it? I will just say this. Okay, when somebody tears an ACL or breaks a leg or something in the preseason, everybody's like, "Oh, this is why they should cancel games in the preseason." There's no reason to have preseason games; they're meaningless. But nobody bats an eye when somebody breaks a leg or tears an ACL in week 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the regular season. Like, what's the difference? Like, I mean, I understand that the preseason games don't mean anything record-wise, but what's the difference in somebody tearing an ACL in week 1 versus week 1 of the preseason? I mean, I feel like it's the same thing as losing a valuable character in a TV series in episode 1 versus losing them in episode 8 or 9. You know, like, there's not really a difference, in my opinion.
Well, I slightly disagree. It's just that with the preseason, these guys are taking baby steps. Like, especially the star players. Like, they're only playing like 20% of their normal reps that they would in a regular season, and they don't go super hard at each other during practice. So, can you imagine if they had all the adrenaline pumping and they go into the first regular season game without any type of live competition versus another team with all the adrenaline, and they're going 100%, there will be so many more people injured just because, their body isn't used to that. So I think that's kind of what preseason generally is about, is just getting some live action under your belt a little bit, because practice doesn't cut it at all. And, 4 games may be a stretch, 2 games, okay, cut the preseason in half, but they got to have some type of live contact, Bob, or it will be a total disaster.
The preseason, I think you need. Not 4 games, but 2 games definitely where you can say, okay, well, actually, you know what you need the preseason for? Getting rid of all these regular season out-of-country games. Can we just put these out-of-country games in the preseason? Could we do that? Like, we want to do a game in, South Africa. We want to do in, Rio de Janeiro. Could we just have every team play 2 games out of the country and then go play regular season football and nobody loses any sleep over it?
I'm for that, man. It's a huge cash grab by Roger Goodell and the NFL, trying to get money from all these different foreigners, and they hike up the prices for the games. And I think it's the true fans of these teams that are really getting robbed, because that's one game out of a particular team's normally home schedule. For instance, like the Raiders and the Texans play in Mexico City this year. So that counts as a Raiders home game. So Raiders really are only playing Oakland 7 times as opposed to the 8. So that's one game that true fans get robbed out of.
Do you do you feel like, okay, Mexico City is back in the equation? I mean, I guess not as far as getting a team, but what was it like? I think it was like Alex Smith's second rookie or his second year playing in the league. They had a 49ers Cardinals game in Mexico City, and it was like, this is going to happen. We're going to have a team in Mexico City. This is going to be awesome. And, after that game, everybody's like, yeah, this is really not that awesome. And it kind of fizzled out. Like that was the first, Mexico City was kind of like the first London. And then Buffalo played a game in Toronto, and then we go to London. Is a team out, like I think a team out of the country is going to happen at some point, but is it like we can get by without? Like we could definitely get by without it. Like I think the NBA eventually needs to work towards having a European division. NFL, I don't think does.
You know what? If they had the NFL team in Mexico, you could imagine all the different cocaine vendors there would be.
Oh, God, that would be great. I mean, could you imagine, like, if you had a team in Mexico City, and you had, like, instead of cotton candy, you have cocaine candy, basically, and then in London, you're able to gamble. Like, every city has its own thing. Like, in Florida, you don't have in-state taxes. In Mexico City, you have cocaine right next to the stadium. In London, you have gambling right across the street as far as betting on the game.
So now, all right. You brought up a point about London and gambling. Now, how is this Las Vegas thing going to work for the NFL? Do you really think they're going to approve this thing with the Raiders going to Las Vegas? Like, how could they when there's so much gambling going on in that town? How could you stop? How could you stop gambling without NFL trying to get a cut of it? I mean, they're already in bed with DraftKings. So how are you going to stop this?
I don't think you do. I think the thing with we're eventually heading to a point. Like I think Adam Silver is so ahead of the game as far as getting rid of owners that shouldn't be owning a team because they're horrible human beings. Having dialogue with the players as far as if say with the Oladipo thing, Adam Silver is going to be like, okay, how are we going to handle he's a total players commissioner. He's going to be like, okay, and he's a total fans commissioner. He's really not an owners commissioner, which could eventually lead to the downfall of him because Roger Goodell is an owners commissioner. He's not a players. He's not a fans. He's an owners commissioner, which means they're going to want him to stay in. Silver is not really an owners commissioner as much as he is players and fans. And I feel like with as far as Vegas goes, I think Silver wants to get to a point where the NBA gets a little bit of a cut from every bet that goes into gambling, which is you're playing with a little bit of fire. But could you imagine going into an NBA arena? Like, say you go to the Sacramento Kings game. Who wants to go to a Sacramento Kings game? Not many people. I'll go to a Minnesota Timberwolves game. It's a little better now that Karl Anthony Towns is there, but it's not the most appealing thing to watch. But if you have an iPad or a little phone,
there's going to be a gambling kiosk built in the seat backs.
Yes, if you could have that, like I have so much fun. I'm going to sound like a complete gambling degenerate, but I have so much fun betting. I don't like putting in, betting who's going to win the NBA Finals. I don't like betting who's going to, or doing an NCAA tournament pool. I like betting, like when Kentucky's up by 27 in a game, are they going to win by 28? Or are they going to win by 25? I like doing stuff like that. Live in-game betting is something that's a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people love doing it. And Vegas is going to open up that possibility in hockey and NFL. And if these leagues, I know live sports is sports is a bubble though. Sports is a bubble that's about to burst. as far as popularity goes. And they need to find something that keeps it interesting and keeps it making money, not just advertising on the jerseys and, not just advertising on the court and whatnot and ruining, Madison Square Garden presented by Chase credit card or something like that. I think this is what I feel like this is what the leagues need. How do you feel about that?
I'm for it. I'm all for it. They're trying to get sponsorships any way they can. So any which way they can, they're trying to get money. I mean, especially since like the league is going to go to like a 50-50 split nowadays. So they're trying to get money from each and everywhere. I'm all for it. I really am. I don't see why not. Let everybody be involved. Like with the gambling, people feel like they are completely invested in the team. Nowadays, like pure fanism is starting to go away from the games, which with like fans cheering for this player or that player, based on fantasy sports and whatnot. Just legalize everything. Let everybody get a cut. Let everybody get part of the pie. Why not?
Yeah. Well, in fantasy sports is like I don't understand how a player is able to own themselves on fantasy sport or on a fantasy team or play fantasy sports, but they can't bet on themselves. Or bet on their team.
They want to cut now. They want to cut.
But
they want to cut, and they should get a cut.
But why can't if Floyd Mayweather can go and bet on himself for boxing, why can't Eli Manning go bet on him on the Giants to win by 7 points against the New Orleans Saints or something like that?
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. As long as you're betting on yourself to win, what's the problem with that?
Right. I don't see it. I don't see what the problem is. I know they may be afraid of people taking dives and whatnot, but like you said, as long as you're betting on yourself, then it shouldn't be a problem. Unless you're a consistent gambler, then one time you don't bet on yourself, that might raise a couple eyebrows. You know what I mean? So it's you're playing with a double-edged sword when it comes to that. But who cares? Who cares? You're trying to take away the authenticity of the sport. I think that's what most commissioners fear that gambling does, is take away the authenticity, because you never know, what stake somebody has, once gambling is involved. Like, you never know, if somebody is in deep with the bookie or whatnot, and they have to take a dive because of whatever, So I kind of get the reason, but really, who cares? Like, let them bet, especially with this whole fantasy thing, because a lot of people are winning money by betting on players individually with DraftKings and FanDuels. Players should definitely get a cut out of that. Like, if somebody scores 3 touchdowns and they help somebody win $1 million for the weekend, that player should get a cut.
Yeah, why shouldn't they get? Yeah, $3,000 or something like that. Well, and the whole thing, like DraftKings and FanDuel.
I hate DraftKings and FanDuel, by the way. Just for the record.
You hate
for the
them?
record, I hate them. I don't because I'm a fantasy football purist, and they're building it and labeling DraftKings and FanDuel as fantasy football, and to me, it's not fantasy football. Fantasy football is a whole different lane than weekly picking your lineups and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not season long, it's not real fantasy football. Which, just call it what it is. Just call DraftKings or FanDuel. Okay, we're gambling and we're building an all-star team. Who puts the best team together? It's just strictly gambling. Let's build all these players. Like, it's not fantasy football. Let's just separate.
It's like,
and that's the only reason why I hate it, is because it's called that. And people talk to me about fantasy. Oh, set my lineup. No, dude. That's DraftKings. That shit ain't fantasy football.
You know what? You know what they should call it is football keno, because you're picking basically like 15 or 20 or 15 players or whatever it is, 11 players. I don't even know. I've never done it because I really don't.
You're absolutely right.
But it's pretty much Keno. It is pretty much
You're
what it is.
absolutely right. I never thought of it like that, but you're absolutely right.
And I don't like with fantasy football. I really enjoyed doing college fantasy football, but the only reason why is because every week, everybody is in it. The only miserable person in the league is the guy who runs the league and has to run waiver wire claims and whatnot, because that I did it for 2 years. And if you open, the mistake the guy who ran the league made was he opened it up to everybody in Division One bowl championship series or whatever it was, whatever the FBS is, and so you could get any player you wanted. So like my big player for the year was T.Y. Hilton, and I never gave him up, and he had a great year. And then every other, so I would have 13 different waiver wire claims because I would just I'd be like, okay, well, this tight end from Wisconsin has been having some good games. He's bound to have a good one against Northwestern. Or I would just pick up a Texas Tech quarterback or a Mike Leach quarterback. Or I'd pick up, whoever it may be to give me enough points. And everybody's in it every single week because it's so ridiculous. So you probably want to limit it down to the group of five or whatever, the big five conferences, the Power Five conferences in college football for fantasy football. But I think college football, it was created because there was the fear that NFL was going to go into a lockout for a while. And
wait a second. Did you say T.Y. Hilton went to Louisville?
No, he went to FIU or Florida International.
Florida International. Okay. I would say, Louisville has a hell of a player themselves this year. This Lamar Jackson guy, he killed my team, Florida State, this past weekend. It's completely embarrassing.
That was like the first time since Nebraska got shellacked by Colorado that I've seen a top 2 team just get destroyed. Just utterly embarrassed.
It was so painful.
I don't even know how you can't recover from that. That's just embarrassing.
Oh my God, it's so painful. I've never sat through and watched the game and it's like, oh shit. And you know what? I watched the whole entire game. I tried to change the channel, and 2 minutes later, I said, okay, maybe we're coming back. No, we're still getting our ass kicked. It's like nothing's changing.
That's the painful thing of being a fan is, like you're watching the Knicks, it'll be like a 40-point game, and it'll be like, okay, well, if they cut this to 35 by half, they might have a shot.
I typically don't watch entire college football games. I don't, because I'm switching channels and things like that. But I kept on turning back to this. Every time I change the channel, I say, wait, hold on, let me check on this real quick. And I sat through and I watched the whole entire game, Bob. I wanted to cry, bro. I turned off my phone because my brother at halftime sent me 4 laughing emojis. I said, fuck this. Oops, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can curse. I said, F this crap. I said, F this. I can't deal with this right now. I had to shut my phone off for the rest of the night. I just couldn't. I couldn't, man. I woke up to all these different texts. It was horrible, man.
Yeah. Daryl, okay. Would you rather? This is a would you rather. It's not sexual. It's just a would you rather sports question. Okay. So the argument is, what was better in the 90s, Nebraska or Florida State? And the argument is, okay, so Florida State won 2 national titles in the 90s. What was 99 and 93? One was against Nebraska when Byron Bennett missed a field goal. But in those 10 years, they never finished lower than 4th. They had a 10.4 wins per season average during that time. They never lost more than 2 games in the season. Nebraska, however, had the greatest 5-year stretch in college football history. They won 3 out of 4 national championships. I mean, if you want to argue the Michigan-Nebraska thing, it's being argued all over social media, and I want to vomit all over myself reading it. But what do you think was better, 10 years or because Nebraska had its struggles in like 90 and 91. It was, Tommy Frazier, Brooke Behringer led them to the national championship.
Those Tommy Frazier days in Nebraska.
They had the greatest team. That 95 team was the greatest team in college football. Well, one of the greatest teams, at least the greatest team of the 90s. But
that black shirt defense, yeah. Nebraska was tough. Nebraska never played Florida State in the big bowl game though.
They did in the Orange Bowl. Didn't they play them they played them in the Orange Bowl in the national championship. Florida State beat them.
It was for the national championship?
Yeah, in 93 when there was 92 or 90. Yeah, it was 93 when Byron Bennett for Nebraska missed a field goal, and Florida State won the national title. Or somebody won Nebraska won the national title that year. Had he not missed that field goal against Florida State?
No, we ended up playing. What's that? Virginia Tech in one national title game, and was that Nebraska?
It was Nebraska in 93.
I take that back. So we only played once. I'm used to seeing Nebraska against Miami in the championship games. But to answer the question, I'm completely biased. I'm going with FSU, buddy. Like I'll take that finishing top 4 for 100 years straight anytime. Because at the end of the day, I'm always getting up and I'm talking crap to my friends like, hey, we're top 4 all the time. But it's really, really hard to compare, man, because those were 2 completely different style teams. That Nebraska team was just hike, we're running a wishbone, hand the ball off to the running back, stop this run game. This is what we're going to do. Stop it. That's what I love about Nebraska football back in the 80s and 90s. Like, this is what we're going to do. You knew what they were going to do every time. They never had a quarterback that could throw it over 30 yards accurately. You knew what they were going to do, and they still lined up and beat that ass. That's what I loved about Nebraska football. They were awesome. But I love all the different swagger that Florida State brought to the game. That's what made me become a fan, because of all of the swagger.
I will say
you can't take that away.
I will say this: Nebraska gets a lot of credit for being like the nicest fans and whatnot, but I don't think there's any cooler moment. And I don't know if Native Americans are listening to this, but I think the tomahawk chop, whether it be with the Atlanta Braves or with Florida State, there's nothing cooler in sports. I'm sorry, I think that's it might be offensive to to Native Americans, but I think that's one of the coolest, most intimidating things that a crowd can do, where it's that is just. I'm doing it right now. As you're talking about it. Yeah, it's just it's not even Nebraska hasn't. I wish Nebraska would play Florida State at Florida State just so I could see that a lot more. Well, I don't know why they haven't played each other since 93. That would be cool to play them since 93.
Yeah, they never really scheduled. They never really scheduled each other, man. I don't know what's up with that, man.
Yeah,
but
Nebraska versus Miami was a great rivalry. Nebraska needs to reschedule Florida and Florida State. I feel like those 2 rivalry, those 3, not even the Florida one wasn't a rivalry because Nebraska just walked them off the field. But I feel like Florida State, the Bobby Bowden Osborne thing, it was pretty good. But I just feel like the tomahawk chop is just one of those cool things. Whether it's with Florida State or the Atlanta Braves, that is just one of the coolest things in sports, offensive or not.
Hey, you know what, Bob? You know why I love coming on your show?
Why is that?
You're my favorite show to come on and guest appear on, because conversation always goes completely off the rails.
Yes, it does.
Always. Always. If we're talking about Game of Thrones, if we're talking about leaving your phone in the bathroom, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I told you about that one where I got in a fight with somebody over leaving my phone in a public restroom.
Right.
Yeah, that was terrible. Okay.
I love it, man.
All right. Couple more questions before I let you get out of here. Did you watch? Are you a Ray Donovan fan? A Vice Principals fan? Is there a show that's not?
I'm a huge Ray Donovan fan.
You're a huge Ray Donovan fan. Okay.
Yes.
Did you feel like Okay, keep this in mind. I'm a big person on watching a show in the moment, like watching a show week to week. I don't necessarily do that, but I'm a big fan of it makes you think more from week to week. And
here's the thing. Here's the thing with whatever you're about to ask me about Ray Donovan. I just moved, and I haven't seen Ray Donovan since the beginning of this month of September. So I don't know anything that happened over the past 3 episodes.
Okay. All right. I can backtrack. Okay. Do you still have Showtime? Because if you don't, you can use my Showtime.
Oh, that's awesome. So after we get off the phone, send me your password.
Yes, I will do. I will for sure do that. However, okay, leading up to... Okay, so Ray Donovan, disclaimer, I binge watched up until I think season 4, episode 5, and then I've watched every episode week to week. And my thing with this show is binge watching it. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like this show is awesome, and I love the show, but I feel like the show has, in season 4, I feel like it's treading water, or it's, kind of in quicksand as far as where it's going. Like I like the Russian aspect, but it's gotten away from the thing that it was best at, which was Ray Donovan fixing problems for other people. And Mickey just pisses me off episode to episode. I want to kill Mickey. What is your take up to this point with Ray Donovan? And how have you watched it? Have you binge watched for the most part? Have you watched it, week to week?
I binge watched. I didn't find out about Ray Donovan until halfway through the 2nd season.
Mm-hmm.
So I binge watched the first, basically first 2 seasons. I binge watched. Then I went week to week after that. I definitely want to kill his dad every episode. Like,
God, what he has done to Bunchy makes me want to, like, the stuff with Bunchy. It's like the whole thing with when Bunchy and when he takes Bunchy to go kill Bill Prim. I hope that didn't ruin anything for you.
Well, no. I got there. I kind of think that's the good thing that he did for Bunchy.
Okay.
No, it's
get him to grow nuts or something.
Strangely enough, like him getting Bunchy to go get his wife back, and get his family together back. Like that was a good thing, and that snapped his wife out of whatever sick type of depression that she was in. I mean, okay, I don't condone murdering or anything like that at all.
Well, that situation, I probably would.
No, but she was a complete nut job for a second,
yeah,
and that snapped her out of it.
Yeah,
that snapped her out of it completely. So that's the one good thing that he did, aside with the murders aside. He helped him get out of his little funk, go get your woman, take care of your family, blah blah blah, and made everything better in those regards. Anything else that he did, like it was terrible. Like when he called the girl from the side of the road, oh, come get me, baby. No, dude. Like, wait till you get to LA, you got all this money, and you fly her out, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Him. Well, and it's like the one good thing he did was well, with like he's never really done anything good. I guess the turn himself in was
That was
fine.
it. That was it.
But like he's such a horrible human being. It's like, but like a lot of the stuff is just like, I love the show, but it's like, man, none of this stuff makes sense. Like, could we go back to where Ray is fixing problems, like the stuff with Ray and the boxer in this season? What's his name?
That's weird. That's weird.
It's weird, but he's fixing
Yeah,
problems.
that's weird. That's weird.
It's weird. It's weird as shit, but he's fixing problems. That's the thing. It's what he's known for. Is Ray Donovan is a problem fixer. Like the first episode where the guy, spoiler alert, the athlete kills his prostitute in his bed, and then he tries to make it look like the other guy's not gay.
Right,
Like,
right.
That was supposed to be the essence of Ray Donovan. Now all this stuff with the Russians and the who was it? The not the Latin. They're not Latvians, but they're some kind of Middle European country.
He's fixing himself.
Yeah.
And
he never looks bothered by anything. Like, I mean, his eyebrows are always the same as far as whether he's being threatened by the Russians or being threatened by the. It's just
he's cold, isn't he? He's a cold dude, man. He's never affected by any situation.
Yeah.
Whether he's enjoying himself or whether he's in so much pain, like his expression never changes, man. That is it's so unreal, but it's awesome at the same time.
And he drinks he drinks a lot of whiskey.
Kudos to them for bringing Lisa Bonet in the fold.
Yeah.
Like, where has she been all these years?
Yeah, I don't know.
And she is sharp too. She is sharp. Like, you can look at some shows and be like, this is terrible acting. But like, she still has it, bro.
Wait, who is this?
This is Lisa Bonet is the one that played on the Cosby Show. Denise from the Cosby Show.
Okay. All right.
The boxer sister.
Yeah. Okay. She still has it, but it really the incest. Really, I'm sorry, turns me off as far as
It's terrible. I cringe, man. I
know.
I cringe.
Like, you're just like, ugh. Like, how is this even possible? Like, yeah, I mean, it's possible, but it's just like, I can't find beauty in somebody that has a sexual relationship on a TV show. I mean, it's probably the same way with, okay, I'm not going to go there. It was going to be a Jared Fogle joke, but I'm not going to go that route. All right, Daryl. Well,
hey, real quick, I know we're about to head out the door, man. But who do you have winning the Super Bowl?
Shit.
Right now, if you're to make a pick right now, who do you have winning the Super Bowl?
We need to go into. Oh, sorry, Keith. We're going to go a little bit of overtime. My overreaction pick right now is probably the Texans. And I like their defense. I like, Brock Osweiler is not great, but he's not horrible either. They're going to win their division. It's a terrible division. They're going to get in, they're going to get in the playoffs. And I've not seen anybody in the AFC that's any good. There's really nobody in all of football that's any good. Like, the NFL is fucking awful right now. Like, I mean,
I'm gonna say this, and it hurts me to say this. It really hurts me to say this.
Chiefs?
Because I'm a Raider fan. I think the Broncos are gonna repeat.
Really?
With
Trevor Siemian?
With Trevor Siemian at quarterback.
You know,
They-
that would be awesome if it's Trevor Siemian versus Brock Osweiler in the UFC Championship.
It would be. It would be. I think the Broncos going to repeat, man. Like, their defense is just freaking awesome. Hands down, their defense is awesome, and their running game is better than it was last year. And that's what Gary Kubiak's, whole scheme is predicated on their running game. And Trevor Siemian is playing that offensive system like 10 times better than Peyton Manning was. No, he's not a better quarterback than Peyton Manning, but he fits that system 10 times better than Peyton Manning does, and he fits that system better than Brock Osweiler does. Like, it's just tailor-made for this team. I don't see, who's going to score like 20 points on this team on a consistent basis. Like, it's hard to even score 10 on this team. It's hard. That defense is so awesome.
I agree with you to a certain extent, but I feel like they're
The
capable.
Texans have a great defense, too. The Texans do have a great
I feel
defense,
like they're
too.
capable of giving up 20 points. Trevor Siemian, this is Nebraska watcher in me. Watching him at at Northwestern, he was awful at Northwestern. Like, I know this is a different game, but going into the end, like, 7th round pick, I don't think he's great. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's good either. Like, I think he's like okay. And like,
Bob, Tom
I
Brady was
understand
a
how good their
backup.
Okay, I understand.
Tom Brady was a backup in college. Tom Brady was a backup in college.
Yeah, and Trent Dilfer was not scoring touchdowns in 5 straight games with the Ravens. Like, I understand your point there, but Tom Brady also got goddamn lucky against the Raiders in the Tuck. If the Tuck rule game doesn't happen, Tom Brady is not Tom Brady.
You're killing me, man. Why do you want to talk about that?
Okay, because you brought up Tom Brady. You're a goddamn Raiders fan, and you bring up Tom Brady. Tom Brady is not Tom Brady today without the Tuck rule game.
I'm just saying he was shit. He was shit in college. Anybody
He was
can be
shit
shit in
pros
college.
until they got Randy Moss, and until he got the Tuck rule game. This should tell you the Tuck rule game and 2 losses to Eli Manning. Strike 3 on Tom Brady. Does that work for you?
That works. That works for me. That works for me.
All righty. Well,
Oh,
Daryl,
man.
before we get out of here, do you want to tell everybody where you can find you on Twitter, the internets, all that good stuff?
Find me on Twitter at SpitzGame. You can find me doing podcasts for NGSC Sports. I do a weekly fantasy football show called the Fantasy Football Addicts Support Group. And actually, I'm about to record the first podcast of the season in about 20 minutes. So look for that in a couple of days. And that's pretty much it for now till NBA season starts.
Awesome. Well, I will go ahead and send you my Showtime info. And
Appreciate that.
yeah, no problem. And on that note, everybody make sure you tune into Designated Survivor starring Kiefer Sutherland tomorrow night. Jack Bauer is fucking back on ABC as President of the United States. And that'll do it for the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com. I will see you next Tuesday here on the LateNightSportsRadio.com.